What is going on, everybody? And it is that time of the year. Up on the screen, you have the NBA playoffs, and on the top middle part, it's the bottom of my Kevin Durant poster. I didn't even think about that. I was taking that picture, but those are the full NBA playoffs. Ignore how lopsided the left side is. I know it goes further down. I suck at making these things. It's the first time I've actually ever made it like that, but it's cool. I couldn't do that for March Madness because that would be way too hard, too many lines. But anyways, let's hop into these predictions. We got all the games up on the screen. I'm going to go from top west to the bottom of the east. If you're wondering from me what I think the best series are, is not Thunder Pelicans, Clippers Mavs. That's a really good series. Same as Timberwolves Suns. I think that one's going to be really good. Nuggets Lakers also pretty good. I think Knicks Sixers is amazing. Bucks Pacers. If Giannis doesn't play, that one will kind of suck. Celtics Heat, that's not going to be great. And Cavs Magic's going to be pretty good. It'll be interesting to see how the Magic perform in the playoffs. Okay, well, anyway, starting off with the top left, we got the Thunder and the Pelicans. So happy it's not the Kings. I don't want them to have any chance at winning a title. It's not going to happen, but I just don't want them to have any chance. So starting with the Thunder and Pelicans, and I think the Pelicans are really good, but we don't know the health of Zion Williamson yet. And I think that's a major factor, obviously. Brandon Ingram had a really good game. It's nice to see that that he wasn't on the bench at the end of the game. He got real minutes this game compared to that Lakers game where he didn't get anything. So if Giannis is a game time decision for the entire series, and we'll see what happens with that. I don't think it's going to be a question. I think the Thunder are going to win this series. They're going to move on. They're going to play either the Clippers or the Mavericks, but we'll have to keep an eye on the series with Zion out. But he misses a lot of games, and I would not be surprised if maybe he gets injured again. But we'll see. I got the Thunder moving on there. Anyways, moving on to the Clippers and Mavs, and this is another really good series, or the first really good series. And the Clippers, obviously, they have three superstars, or three really good players: James Harden, Paul George, and then obviously Kawhi Leonard. And then they have Westbrook. I think he's like their sixth man now. And those four players. Three of those players are the three most overrated playoff performers of all time. Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Paul George. They all are not good in the playoffs. Kawhi Leonard, he's the exception. He's won 2 chips. He's led 2 teams, or 1 team to a chip. But the Clippers, and with those playoff players, and then facing off against Kyrie and Luka Doncic in the playoffs, I think it's going to be a handful of them. I don't think they're going to be able to take care of them. I think that this series will be pushed to 7 games, and then I think the Mavs will win it on the Clippers' home court in the playoffs. But that's a good one. And also, I don't understand. Actually, I guess this isn't the case. But if the Mavs were the Clippers were the 5 seed and the Mavs were the 4 seed, since the Lakers are the 7 seed, they would have to schedule those games apart so they don't play at the same time, because that would be funny, because then they would have to share the court. I don't know. Maybe one can play in the practice arena, but that's a funny thought. So I got the Mavs moving on. They will play the Thunder. Moving on to that Timberwolves Sun series, I think it's going to be another really good series, just like the Clippers Mavs one. I think this one will be pushed to 7 games. Timberwolves, an incredible defensive team. Obviously, Rudy Gobert, the best defensive player in the NBA, alongside Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, and then Cat for that inside scoring type of role. And I think that's going to be a lot for the Suns to handle. Obviously, the Suns, KD, Devin Booker, Beal, crazy 2 through 4, I guess you can say. Obviously, have Yusuf Nurkic, too, who's been a beast this year, and I think these two teams match up really well against each other this year. The Suns, obviously, they beat the Timberwolves a couple times down the stretch to get into that 16 and avoid the play-in over the Pelicans. They barely snuck in there, but they have the same record, 49 and 33 or whatever. And the Suns, they're a really good team. Again, I mean, not the greatest playoff team. Obviously, KD, he's only been able to do it with Steph. Did not deserve those finals MVPs. And I think it's going to be too much, again, for the Suns to handle. I think the Timberwolves are going to take care of them, and I think they'll take care of them in 6 or 7, probably 7, but we'll see what happens. The Wolves, really good, underrated team, and it'll be interesting to see what happens in that series, too. Moving on to the Nuggets and Lakers series. I'm gonna go ahead and say this right now. The Nuggets will win this series. The Nuggets are the better team, but it'll be interesting. I don't know why people thought LeBron should tank against the Pelicans, because, yeah, at the end of the day, he is the GOAT, or, well, people say he's the GOAT, Jordan's the GOAT, but people say, people obviously say, LeBron, why would he do that? That just doesn't look good for his resume. Jordan would never do that, but there's no playing tournament in Jordan's era, I guess, but yeah, I don't understand why LeBron would do that. They want their rematch against the Nuggets. It's unfinished business for the Lakers, but they're definitely they're definitely over fought, I guess, by the Nuggets. But yeah, the Nuggets will win that. They will host the Timberwolves, and that will be a really good series. Moving on to the East, we got the Celtics and the Heat. The Celtics will win this series. Obviously, no Jimmy Butler out with that MCL injury. That's going to be really bad for the Heat. Hopefully, they can push that to 5 games. I would like that. I would like to see them win at least one of them. But the Celtics will move on. That's undoubtedly the answer. Moving on, we got Cavs and Magic. It's going to be interesting to see how the Magic perform in the playoffs. A ton of young players. Nobody expected them to really grab the 5 seed. At one point, they were actually the 3 seed, maybe even the 2 seed at one point. I'm not sure. They were really up there. They've been balling this year. And it'll be interesting to see how they react to the playoffs. Obviously, the Cavs have a lot of experience with Donovan Mitchell being in multiple playoff series on the Jazz and last year with the Cavs, but they still got killed by the Knicks. And then obviously Jared Allen and a few other guys on that team that have experience. So I think that experience from the Cavs will just overpower the Magic. And again, like I think I said earlier, the Magic, they're a really good team. Like they could have easily finished. They could have finished anywhere from the 3 to 7 seed because that was so close, or maybe even 8. But I think they're still a really good team. I think they can push this one out to 6 or 7, but I think the Cavs, at the end of the day, will have the series. I think it's just the vets on the Cavs. Like, Donovan Mitchell, he's obviously 7th, 8th year, but my opinion, I consider him a vet just also because I love Donovan Mitchell so much. So I got the Cavs advancing, and they're going to be going on the road to play the Celtics in that conference semis. I'm just reading off what ESPN says. In the NFL, it's the divisional. I like that more. Moving on, we got the Bucks and the Pacers, and again, just like the Thunder-Pelican series, I don't want to take the Bucks unless we know Giannis is going to be healthy, and we don't, right? Because obviously we don't know the status of Giannis Antetokounmpo, and if he misses what they're saying is going to be 3 or 4 games, if he misses that many games, I don't see the Bucks winning the series, especially with how good the Pacers can be, how dangerous they can be with Halliburton and oh my God, what's his name? Pascal Siakam. So I'm gonna take the Pacers to win the series just because I just don't trust the health of Giannis in this one. If he comes back in game 1 or 2, which I don't think is gonna happen, then I'd probably want to go the Bucks. But we don't know it right now, so the safe take is just going with the Pacers just because we know that none of their superstars are injured. So Pacers will move on. Moving down to the Knicks and Sixers game, and the winner of this series is who I want to win the NBA Finals. I'm just going to say that real quick. The Knicks will win this series. I'd rather have the Knicks win the series than the Sixers. And look, this feels weird to say because my dad's a Nets fan. He grew up in New Jersey. He's always been a Nets fan. But he also wants the Knicks. He just felt bad for the Knicks because they never won with Ewing or anything. So I'm gonna take the Knicks to win this, better team. And I don't understand how the Knicks have been so good all along. They're missing Julius Randle. I don't understand how they turned a bunch of role players into almost stars. Dante DiVincenzo. This dude came from being like a mid-role player on the Warriors to becoming a top 5 shooter in the NBA. Josh Hart to one of a top 40 player in the league. And then obviously Jalen Brunson has been maybe top. You can make the argument top 5 this year. He's been incredible. So yeah, I mean, obviously the Sixers, they have a lot of weapons, Maxey and Embiid. The reason why they slipped so low was Embiid. So I think the Sixers are going to put up a fight, and this is going to be a really good series. I'm going to take the Knicks to win. I want them to win the title after this one, or maybe the Pacers if they win. But still, I want the Knicks to win, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Sixers because they're going to be healthy, and they can take this one to 7 or maybe even win it. But I'm going to roll with the Knicks just because they're the 2 seed, and I think they're the better team overall. Okay, moving on to the semis. To go to the championships, or not the championship, the conference finals. Use the football again. Football just makes more sense. Okay, starting in the top left with the Thunder and the Mavericks. And okay, this one is gonna be a series. I think this one goes to 7 easily. I think the Mavericks will win this. It's Luka Doncic that we're talking about. Playoff Luka, he's so dangerous. And Kyrie Irving. And I think the Thunder young core, it's just not seen this. I feel like the same thing that happened to Trace Jackson Davis in that type of environment against Sacramento the other day. He kind of just fell apart. I have a feeling that's going to happen with a lot of Thunder players. I feel like they're going to be really relying on Shea to get a lot of stuff done for them in that series. And I think it's just going to be too much. I think that one will go to 6 or 7. But that's going to be a really good series. And the Mavs will move on, and Luka will continue a tear in the playoffs, is what I have. Moving down to the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. And I mean, already, off the bat, you know who I have to take here. It's going to be the Nuggets. like they have more experience than the Wolves do. Not saying the Wolves don't, they definitely do. But the Nuggets, just Jokic and Murray, something about that duo just makes me want to take them in every matchup they play. Timberwolves, incredibly good team. I think they match up honestly better than the Nuggets, but they have Jokic, and whoever has Jokic, the best player in the world, is going to end up winning most times. Then he loses. If that doesn't even make any sense. But I have the Nuggets advancing, and the West Finals will be the Mavericks and the Denver Nuggets. Moving on to the Eastern Conference, where you have the Celtics and the Cavs, and I think the Cavs could take this one to 5 or 6, but you know it's going to be the Celtics. That team is unstoppable. They went 64-18. A couple of those losses, though, were just them playing like their snubs, like all game and stuff. Like they didn't put Tatum in that Kings game, but they still won that Kings game because the Kings suck. But actually, I shouldn't be saying that. They beat us, but I'm going to take the Celtics. They have more weapons in more places than the Cavs, and more weapons, it's better weapons. I think Mitchell obviously is better than Jaylen Brown, but other than that, nobody really. I mean, Jared Allen's probably better than Porzingis, but other than that, the Celtics, they have just too much star power, and I think they're going to get past the Cavs I'll go 5 or 6. I'll go 6. I'll go 6. Moving on to the Pacers and the Knicks. Winner would play the Celtics. And this is going to be a really good series, obviously. Siakam and Halliburton going up against Brunson, DiVincenzo, and Hart. And that core, as I said earlier for the Knicks, is weirdly amazing. I don't know how without Randall, as I keep saying. And then the Pacers, we know what they can do. I feel like they could have gone a higher seed than 6. And I feel like in this series, since it is being played in New York, probably New York, one of the best places to have home court advantage because it's New York. I think that home court advantage will barely get it done for the Knicks. And I think they'll win it in 7. I think it'll be a really good series against Indiana. I think they'll get it done, though, and we'll get a 1-2 matchup in the East Finals. It'll be the Knicks and the Celtics, and then obviously the Mavs and the Nuggets from the Western Conference. We're into the conference finals now, and we got the Mavs and the Nuggets from the West, and the Celtics from the Knicks. Celtics and the Knicks, not from the Knicks. Celtics and the Knicks in the East. Winners go to play in the finals, and here's my finals. My dream matchup is not what I have. My dream matchup's the opposite of what I have, but you know what I'm going to say. Mavs Nuggets, this is going to be a pretty good series. I think this one goes deep, but then at the end of the day, who on the Mavs is going to guard Nikola Jokic? And it's like Powell, what's his name? Powell, yeah, whatever. Powell, I don't even know his first name. What is it? Dwight Powell? I don't even know. But he is not going to guard Jokic, and don't act like he is, because he's not going to get anywhere on Jokic. And Jokic, even if he does, even if they double Jokic is such good of a passer, and they have shooters like Aaron Gordon. He's not a shooter, but if he wants to, he can shoot it. And you know what I mean if you're a Warriors fan. Obviously, Michael Porter Jr., and I just don't think the Mavericks will have enough to win that series. And the Nuggets, the defending champs, will go back to the NBA Finals, and they will play either the Celtics or the Knicks. And now, in that Celtics-Knicks series, I think it's going to be a pretty good one. But as I keep saying, obviously, the Celtics, a better team than the Pacers and the Sixers. And I think the Pacers and the Sixers, they still have those weapons, but they don't have them at all the positions. They have them at places where the Knicks can't contain them. But the Celtics, they have weapons at every position. Obviously, Derek White, Drew Holiday, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Kristaps Porzingis. Incredible lineup. And like the Knicks, all those good role players that they've turned into, obviously missing Randall, it's not going to be enough to beat the Celtics. Jason Tatum, I hate to admit it, will go back to a finals. The Celtics will win the series. I think the Knicks can push it. I think they can maybe even push this to 7, depending on how they're playing, depending on how the Celtics are playing also. And if the Celtics are making threes, they can win. They can sweep this series. If the Celtics are making threes, they can sweep every series, including the Nuggets in the finals. But I don't know if the Celtics are going to be shooting well, just based off how they are shooting in the finals against the Warriors a couple years ago. Not game 1, they were crazy in game 1, but in those other games, just depending on that, we'll see. And it could be interesting, honestly. And then in the finals, it all comes down to this, the Denver Nuggets and the Boston Celtics. Who do I think will win? It's either the Celtics passing the Lakers, getting their 18th, or the Nuggets going back-to-back. And the interesting thing here is I've kept saying how many stars the Celtics have at all positions. Obviously, the Nuggets, they have Aaron Gordon in that crazy defense, Michael Porter Jr. in that perimeter shooting to keep up with those Celtic shooters if they're making threes, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray in that lineup. And adding Contavious Caldwell-Pope, a shooter and a really good defender on ball, and even on those, like, he can defend those big guys. He can jump. He can get up there. Just kind of like Gary Payton blocking Wemby, but enough about the Warriors. And then the Celtics, they have those guys at all positions too, but they're kind of some that's just the same players. Like, Kristaps Porzingis, never really much of a great defender. It'll be tough for him to guard Jokic. Derek White, obviously good on defense and offense, both of them. But the Nuggets, it's just something about this team just wants me to pick them over the Celtics. And I have a friend that's a Celtics fan. I don't want them to win a chip. I also have a friend that's a Suns fan. That's why I don't want any of those teams to win. And at the end of the day, I'm going to go with the Nuggets. I'm going to root for them if they get to this scenario also. I'm not going to root for the Celtics. So I want the team that I'm rooting for to also be the team that, like, I want to win also, you know what I mean? Or the team that I have winning is also the team I want to be rooting for. So I'm not rooting for the team that I want to lose. You know what I mean? Rooting for the team that I picked to lose. You know what I mean? But the Celtics, even if I wanted them to win, I would still take the Nuggets. They're the better team, in my opinion. They swept them in the regular season series, and they showed something that the Celtics didn't show. I think they're a better playoff team. Tatum will not win his first this year to Jack Coe. That's what I'm telling him. So yes, I do the Denver Nuggets going back-to-back this year. I just think that team is so good. They will beat the Boston Celtics in the finals. They will win back-to-back championships. And comment down below, hear what you think. This series is what everybody's saying, and it's going 50-50, maybe like 60% Nuggets picks, or 60% Celtics picks, and 40% Nuggets picks, but comment down below who you have. Comment down below who you have winning the Heat series. I'm kidding. I don't know why I said that, but that's it for these predictions. This was fun to do. I love doing these predictions, but that's it for this. Game starting tomorrow, and peace. Oh, and also real quick, by the way, if you haven't clicked off the video, my tiebreaker is 695 points from the Finals MVP in the entire playoffs. That's Jokic. He will score 695 points in the playoffs. Mark my word, that will be right.